Thank you. If we can get a roll call, please.
Denham,
Here.
LeBlanc, Schultz,
Here.
Pinkley,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Stepp,
Here.
McBratney,
Here.
Milton. City Administrator Stepp, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, first item on our agenda is approval of the Finance Committee meetings for the Finance Committee minutes for the meetings from August 28th and October 29th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. And is it roll call or just voice vote? Voice vote's fine. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Review and acknowledgement of the disbursements for $45,000 and over from July through December of 2024. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? I should have been asking if there is discussion. If there's any discussion or questions, you can let me know. We're good? Thank you. Now we move on to monthly financial reports, and we have Allison here this morning. Good morning.
So we're going to present monthly financial reports as of November. We're closing out the end of the year, and then at our April meeting, we'll go over year-end financials and do all of the graphs and the reports. We just wanted to get to know you and kind of show you where we're at for the year as we close things out, and where we're at so far as of November, and then where our sales tax collections came in at for the year. So if we want to start with the spreadsheet of the 1% sales tax receipts for the monthly budget. So this is the 1% sales tax, the city sales tax, and we budgeted $15.5 million for the year, and we came in at $15.6 million, which is 3% over what we or 0.3% over what we budgeted for 2024. If we go to the next sales tax page, which is tourism tax, we budgeted $17.8 million. Our receipts for the year were $17,873,000, so it's 0.4% over what was budgeted for 2024 in tourism tax collections. If we go to the next, we identify what's not restricted out of those funds, so what's not tied up in bond payments. For this year, we had our total receipts were 15.6, like stated before, and then after our bond payments, we had 12.5 million remaining. And this is up 68,000 from the previous year over 2023 collections. The next page you will see is the tourism tax that is not restricted. This funding came in 394,000 under, decreased from when compared to 2023 with unrestricted funds. Sorry if I could speak. Are there any questions about sales tax collections for the 2024 fiscal year?
Do we, I realize our tax reporting is, depending on the tax, delayed a month or two. So how does it look for the actual December timeframe?
So these numbers won't vary that much from the December timeframe. We're going to see some different things as we accrue the numbers and do our final 13th period entries, but it shouldn't change over a percentage that much. So this is what we're going to see coming in. So for 2024, we don't have the means in our current financial system to really determine what should have been collected in what month. For 2025 in our new system, we should be able to accurately say this is what should have been collected in the current month with tourism tax, and then this is what we actually collected, so this is what's past due. So going forward in our 2025 fiscal year, we're going to do a better job about reporting and then seeing past due payments so we can actually get an accurate representation of what we should have received, what month we should have received it in past due sales tax collection, especially for that tourism tax.
I guess where I was going with that is, do we expect a budget surplus, and if so, how much?
We do not expect a budget surplus by the end of the year with 13 period entries. And if we see a surplus, it will be less than 100,000 by the time we do our accruals. And then you were provided today the fund accounting, so all of the funds and where those balances were at as of November. I could present these for you guys today, but if you guys just want to take a look over those, we're still adjusting our third period entries and doing our accruals. So these will not be the final numbers for November by the time we do those accruals, and same with December. So as of today, these are expected numbers for November. And then at our April meeting, we'll present graphs and everything on quarterly financials for the 2024 fiscal year. Do you guys have any questions about what you were provided today?
Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, if I can just make an observation. So looking at these DEXA reports, there's probably about 100 pages, 75, 100 pages worth of financial reports. And I just have a request. I know we were kind of crunched here and you had some business system issues, but to give out that volume of information 24 hours before a meeting doesn't make for an effective committee meeting, because I don't really have time to prepare to go through the finances, get my questions prepared. It would be nice going forward if we could have those reports, say, a week in advance, especially if it's this volume of reports, so we have the opportunity to review and get our questions in order. I'd appreciate it.
For sure, we can do that from now on. And also, I would like your guys' input on what reports you guys want to see from this, for this committee going forward. We have new systems, we have new people, and we're willing to do what you guys want to see to just make this transparent. And so we're giving you guys all the information you want to see, so we're most prepared as a city and an organization, and you guys are prepared as a board to go into these meetings with all the financial data that you want to analyze. And you guys can always email our staff if you have any questions or want to see other reports. We're willing to get that out to you and then also present that at any meetings. Or if something comes up and you want to see it at the next board meeting, let me know and we can always present it to you guys.
So to the other committee members, you can feel free to email me particular things that you would like to see and maybe how you'd like to see them, whether in graph form versus spreadsheet form. I know the graphs sometimes are a little bit easier to follow. Whatever it is, we're open to your suggestions, but you can send those directly to me and then I'll feed it through the pipeline. Okay?
So I have a question on the November finances, if I may. I'm aware that we pay a portion of our tourism tax to the CVB for the purpose of marketing. Can you point me to where that is in the financial report?
So I can't point out the exact line where that's on the financial report, and right now this is just a snapshot at the point in time. That's why we're not doing any graphs or final numbers, and I just wanted to present this information today since we haven't had a meeting in so long. But with that being said, we require them to turn in their expenses, and then we go back and reclass those expenses and accrue them in the correct period, and they are still turning in their stuff. So as of November, their November expenses were not turned in. So I'm not able to pinpoint that number on these current financials to say this is what CVB has spent year to date in 2024, but we will have that number at the April meeting, and we can specifically go over what they spent and what categories that was spent in.
What about a year-to-date figure?
I know December's, let me see if I can get November's year-to-date figure. Like I said, I know a lot of their expenses weren't turned in because they had some turnover in getting us those reporting.
They did. They had some dramatic turnover in staff in their organization. So we've been patiently waiting for them to sort things out. But I'm getting regular input from Pam Yancey, and they're making great strides. So I'm not concerned about it. It's just unfortunate that I can't give you that information at this moment.
And like I said, I don't have that exact number today of where they're at year-to-date, and it's not broken out on this report to tell you that amount year-to-date because in these funds, it's multiple expenses, and it's not just that expense that's broken out.
Could you just show me where on the report it would be if it were being reported?
So right now, I think those expenditures are lumped in to, Sunday, are you scrolling through? Okay. So there's where it would be lumped in. The only problem with these expenditures is there are other things lumped into to this expense line. So if it's the tourism expense line, and the remaining budget is $2.8 million, the budget was 4.3 million for the year. That's not only the CVB funding and expenses, those are other expenses too that have been charged to that tourism expense line.
What else would be in there?
I'm not for sure exactly, and I can get you that, and I can have our staff research that to see everything that's posting to that line.
I
Yeah,
think,
I'd appreciate if you can follow up.
wouldn't it also be like the amount of money that we held back for the contingency, tourism contingency fund might be in there? I don't think that's in a separate line to where we keep the dollar. We did keep some dollars back for internal things, the chiefs, 250,000 towards the chiefs boosting efforts that the city has contributed. And so I believe that number might be in that tourism line as well, but just to give you a little bit of background, but we'll get you some definites here in the
And I can do a
days.
detailed breakdown of that expense line to tell you exactly what was budgeted in there and what we've expended for who we've expended it also.
Yeah, one of my interests here, and I realize I'm not going to get it at a financial level, so don't misunderstand, but one of my interests is with working with the TCED board in looking at their efforts to try to apply their marketing dollars in various segments, various medias, various geographies, et cetera. It strikes me that it would be wise for us as a city to show what we're doing from a tourism investment advertising perspective at that same detail level, so that both we and the TCED are able to say, let's not first duplicate efforts, and secondly, let's be a little more strategic and fill in spots where one group isn't hitting that the other group feels is an important segment. And so I'm having a more careful look at what we're doing from a tourism investment, a tourism advertising investment in that regard. So anything you can tell me detail-wise about anything else that hits this account that wouldn't actually be spent with CVB, I'd appreciate it, please.
I can do that.
And Alderman Schultz, so you know, we do have those conversations internally regularly when we sit down and have our regular interactions with Pam and with Heather to go over budget items. So it's broken down in much more detail internally, but we're happy to make a separate report for you as a regular occurrence. It sounds like that's what you're
Yeah,
looking
I'd
for.
appreciate that.
Sure. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, we don't have an actual, do we have a motion and second on accepting the financial reports, or it's just review? Just review, that's what I thought. Okay. Any reports from anyone? Anything, questions, concerns? Glenn?
I'd just make a general comment. So, you know, I know this group hasn't had a regular meeting schedule, and with new members, we've never really even had a chance to set up a decent committee procedure, in my opinion. But the purpose of this committee is to review the finances and procedures and make recommendations to the city council. Because the city council doesn't spend the detailed time looking through the finances, at least to the level that this committee should be doing. So quite honestly, I know we're working on trying to get better at this. I know we've got a new finance director. I know we got a new business system. There's a lot of things in play. But I think what we've got to do is keep our eye on the ball that this committee's got to get more engaged and fulfill its mission of making reports, making recommendations back to the aldermen and to city administration. And I just have the feeling when I listen to us here in this meeting today that we're not addressing that mission, that this is almost a formality of displaying reports and waiting for questions. So I think we've just got to find a better way to make this committee fulfill what the charter of the city says we should be doing, the ordinance says we should be doing as a committee. And I know, Kathy, if you've got ideas that way, but, you know, I've been on here since April, and I just don't feel we're meeting that mission.
Yep, comments taken. Thank you. I appreciate that. And like you said, Alderman, the challenge we've been having internally, you've laid those out. The biggest one isn't that Allison is new, because Allison's got a lot of great experience. But it's really been the business system and implementing of Tyler and getting that off the ground and out of the nest. Not off the ground, just out of the nest is probably the best analogy. So we're keenly aware of that, and these folks are working a lot of exceptional amount of extra hours in order to get that up and going. So thank you. Comments received. Anyone else?
On the topic, ma'am, I know since I've been on, and Alderman Scholes and I have talked about it, I know we talked about it in joint session as well, the methodology, it appears that the workload may need to be recognized that it's upticking maybe for this committee. And at one point, we did a tactical shift to how often we convene. Do you feel like that's aligned with the current demands, or?
I think, you know what, I think it will be once, again, we've got the finals. We're in a unique spot right now today just because it's year end. And so we don't have all the year end accumulations. And then we want to make sure that the data we present is accurate first and foremost. And that comes back to the business system, the implementation of Tyler and making sure we've got all the kinks worked out. I think you'll see a much more dynamic meeting in the spring.
And comments on that also. I want to make this worth your guys' while, so you can actually review things. And going forward in April, you'll get the 2024 final numbers, but with that report, you'll also get Q1 financial updates. So then you can see what's going on in real time. Since we haven't had a meeting in so long, we wanted to at least have a meeting, see everyone's face and say, hey, this is what happened in 2024, to give you like a glimpse. And then in April, we'll really dig down on what happened in 2024, and then going forward and seeing those rollover amounts, and then also with first quarter financials, so you can see what went right there or what went wrong, so then we can set ourselves up for success in Q2 and Q3.
Very good. Anyone else?
Just like to add to that, that it does seem like a formality. I'm new to this, new to the process, and there's not been a lot of discussion or a lot of meeting time. And I just want to echo what Glenn said, that I think that there's probably more in depth that should be done.
Okay, very well. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Looking for a motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.